G'day mate, I was surprised, watch to the very end if you can. There's an add-on to the very end of this video, and I was surprised what I found. It's lucky we got this 7.2 cylinder there, but I was lucky. Alright, I don't know if I was watch to the very end, please. G'day mate, working on Cameron's 731 SX Shindaiwa. Now, I've the original cylinder on the saw is no good. Red exhaust hole on the exhaust, that's on there, marks on the cylinder. So I'm going away from that. So I got this one yesterday. I did a video on it, and I thought I'd just show you. I'm going to pull this up, and there's a bit of difference between these cylinders, which I'll fix up. And if you look at the lower transfers, I haven't fixed them yet, but they opened up their whole shot. They're not nice, clean, straight down the base. Just straight in the cylinders. I know, I'll put a torch on there. They've opened them up quite a bit. The airflow in there. Now on the side there, there's a heap of rubbish on that side. There's a wall there. There's lots of slag. It's rubbish on both sides really, but that side is alright. This side here, it's just lumps and bumps. I made sure the airflow goes straight down that. I still have to do some more work, but the one thing I did work out, I put this cylinder back on the saw. I poured the piston to the piston, got way bigger piston holes now. You can't really do too much of that. Here's one that came off it. To organise. Now that's been poured, the windows on that there. But you can't really go too much, because if you do, this metal on this piston here is quite brittle stuff. It cuts real quick, so you wouldn't want to touch it. Now this is not fed by the sides. It's added more lubrication, takes weight off the thing. It's fed by the bottom of the transfer, so if it was side fed, it'd be a different story. So I've just opened the window up a tiny bit. Probably say that you see on that piston there, there's lines going down that on the other side of the windows. I reckon there's line number 3. You got line 2 roughly on both of them. So I've gone and opened up just a tiny bit. So Olivia, wait. Now my plans are for this. I did a squish test on this. Now, I double up the solder. That's a factory cylinder so far. I haven't machined the base at all. Now I put this solder in there, and the solder did not squish at all. So I will be machining the base. Now this is the difference here. The other one was machined. I didn't know if it was or not, but you look this way. Look at the difference in bases there. So one on the right is the ratchet ones, and the one on the left has been machined already. So it's a big difference now. I was wondering if I should do a base against the delete, and I think I will, because one thing that squish quite the right, I want 25,000 squish. The more you take off this, and there's a gasket still on the saw, the less metal you got now. Metal is what holds things together. Gaskets don't, so I used motor seal on this instead. So I'll machine this back now. What the problem with this particular saw is, it's 51 mils fast. I'm working out. I'll measure it more. 51 mils, and I'm gonna make a mandrel just for this saw only. I've got a 52, so I'll machine that back. But I think it will be a piece of it'll be a bit of aluminium, 300 mils long. I've machined that back to 51 mils. And after I've done that, I'll use that later on for a machine job on a Husqvarna 372, 50 mils. So I'll machine it back again. So I'm just not happy I have to rack one of my mandrels, because the mandrel 52 is for big ball for 372, MS 381, MS 380. Quite a few saws use 52 mil, so it's something I use quite often, but I need to get this job done. But yeah, it's what you know too, Cameron. I can pull apart stuff, make things work. It's what way important it is, but it's going to cost me more money. But yeah, that airflow there. Now I've gone down roughly the same route he has. I've followed where the gasket goes, straight lines on that. It's been a seal. Whoever done this before didn't really follow the gasket that much. I opened it up. There's nothing wrong with that. But, I need to point the divide here on both sides. So more airflow. I'll put more airflow towards the back, the main upper transfer. So my plan is, I'm not going to touch the upper transfers at all. I might clean them up here with a diamond bit on the inside where the outside case goes. As for modifying the timing of that, I'm not going to touch it because the smaller one made ski cap. Now, what we'll do is make sure I have 25 degrees or 26 degrees blow down. After working it out on the timing wheel, if you look at that cylinder there, there's a lip in there. I'm assuming that lip will come out. I've got to work it where piston sits and all that. But I'll be making sure I'll do that. Now, how I get a real quick blow down without opening the port too much, I'll do the same thing I did on how top. I'll do a vector lawnmower, little raise on the top of the cylinder there, a little notch. Mechanics do that too sometimes. I've seen them old mechanics. That will get rid of the exhaust really quick, and that will alleviate the problem that Echo and Shindaiwa have done with this set here. So it's one of those things that if you can't get rid of the exhaust the way it is now, which I think is what's going on, it's been detuned. If the exhaust is fighting the fuel, you don't really get power. Normally the fuel goes this way and pushes the exhaust out and they're back to front. But if you get rid of the exhaust real quick, and once the exhaust is gone, throw the fuel back in and do it just right, it will have just as much power. So that's a plan for today. So I'll keep going this thing. I'll work on the time. I want 80 degrees on the intake. Whoever done this one here, they had 80 degrees. So it's not much difference in change. It's wide enough. It's definitely wide enough to see the carby, because the carby is what regulates what goes in the saw. If you have a small carby, that probably had a big intake system work. Now, I'll get going. I'll get on it. Alright, got the manual all lathed up. So, just get that up there. Danger, danger. This is the old cylinder. Goes on nicely. Now I can lay up the one and get the squish just right. That's good. I'm getting impressed with these things now. I'm starting to get used to the lathe. What you can do and how they cut. It's quite a nice smooth finish, but that's not very slow because I want to take my time, make sure I get manual right. That's 51 mils exactly. Alright, I'll do the rest of the saw. So far, let's squish. Take a little bit of time. Don't make mistakes. I think it's about 35 thou. I think. Right on the edge, because it's a very small squish band. Yeah, 35 thou. On the very tip. So I'll lower that a little bit more, not much. Not much at all, because I'll remove the base gasket, machine the cylinder, a little bit more. Not much. There's where things go wrong. You get too much, you ruin the cylinder. Be careful, careful, careful. Don't move that much so far. My camera, focus. So that much. So I'm keeping as much metal as I can here. That's where I remove the base gasket. Pain in the ass to clean it all up. It's still not 100% clean, but just for doing squish tests. But I'll remove another probably 5 more thou, 8 more thou. I want to get to 25 thou if I can, close enough to it. That will give you a lot more bang for his buck. I removed part of the skirt there and there, the main primary one. No, secondary ones. I want that to fire harder. That big hole. There's the main one there, the primary, the secondaries. But I want more fuel down there, because the one that's up in here, like up in here, doesn't have much flow coming from that side there. So try to get as much as I can for that. I open up the skirt back that way and that way, so more flow go through, and just make sure there's more flow, and that really will make this saw come to life. After that, I'll be doing a bit to the exhaust by putting a little notch on top of the exhaust, just to bleed out the exhaust quicker. I'll do it soon. Okay, let's see if the squish has changed that much. I put the saw onto the piston like that, to the other side of the wrist pin. There you go. Probably see the piston there. Windows. Not much bigger than what they were, but they are opened up, so it's improved a little bit of flow. Well, that's not the main source of the engine power from the saw. Now, find the saw easy to put the bolt in first for the cylinder, otherwise they tangled up, pain in the butt. Most times I don't worry about this, but this one here is it's a bit harder. I don't know why. Boy, as you see, easier. There you go. I've wind it down and wind the motor and see what she has for squish. I think she'll be right now. And if I add a bit of motor seal, I'll add to the squish bit, make it less squish. Can stay yet. That over. Red Union Road, red. Oh, it's got good now. Yeah, so stay still. I should put some grease on there. Hold still. Have to do some grease. Grease, covered in grease. Just try a bit until the distance. Bomb the center, hopefully. Hold the grease, hold the sole in one spot for a bit, just a tiny bit. There you go. Try it again. There you go. Down, boy, down. Then wind your bolt on gently before you start chugging them down. Down with your crossfit. Now it goes like my fingers, then I can't do a thing. Can't move your fingers. Slippery. Keep it down. Yeah. Grease lubricator, grease sticky tape. This is bad as it just sits everything. Like baby food on a mattress. Don't sit down. There you go. Now it's down. Plaything. It's also where it should be. That's one going down. I do them up on one of the cheddar gun. It's just a loose fit, but it's all I need a full bolt. Make sure the way go in first. But I'm pretty sure this is right squish. I'm pretty sure. So on number one, yep. Go across. In the pressure. Now wind her over and see how much squish I do have. Up. This feels like it still needs a bit more, I think. That's because it had much squish been itself in the cylinder. So I'm really mindful of that, not to go berserk. But I'm turning the flywheel over by hand. I still feel a bit of pressure there. Just rock it until it's basically gone. I don't feel the coil too, maybe it's a coil. No, the coil's further down. That should be enough to show me what it is. Take it back off. If possible, you don't undo these bolts too many times. They wear out in the bolt hole itself, the cylinder hole. You strip them, so be careful of that. Oh, I'm happy with that. Okay, because the squish band is very small in this, if you look into that, hang on. I'm not going to modify the squish, it's only a home and a saw. I want it to be last, and the owner of them might have to pay for another cylinder thing. And by it's flashing LED light. The squish band is at 3 mils, it's not very big at all. So, I'm happy with that. That's a solar. Got a little bit there on the side. Just small. That's looking pretty well right, I think. It was 60-something thousand on the squish. I didn't measure that. I should have, but I should have put a camera. It was really big. 23. Yeah, 23. What's the size? 23, so I'm happy with that. By the time I put glue on that, on the motor seal on that, that'll push the cylinder up just a bit, to be 25,000 roughly. So I'll leave it as that, that's on the bearing, so on the wrist pin, if that's what it is on the wrist pin itself here, the piston rocks normally, so I'm getting a more accurate measurement from this side. That will give Cameron a lot more boomph because he wants a decompression valve plug in there as well. So be happy with that. Now moving on to everything else, I have to put the tools away, turn off the wrong one. Put the tools away and I'll start working on the intake timing. I'll put the degree wheel on there and see what degree she is now. I'm pretty sure that'll be close to 80 degrees on the intake anyway. I reckon it'll be close to 80. But the exhaust is where the magic will happen in this one. I don't know if I can adjust the exhaust or how far I can move that lip that's just in there. There's a little lip of screwdriver. You can see it. I don't know why they put it there. Something to do with pollution, I'd say. The lip. I don't know what that's for. But that will probably go out. I'll remove that and put a little notch just up here. Let the exhaust out real quick. Just open up the factory. The other one is missing the lip, so I'm assuming it's fine, but I have to look where the piston skirt and everything sits first. Right, and the pin and everything else, where the ring locating pins sit. So there's one here, I think just down the piston there, and there's also one at the front somewhere. There's one just there, I think it is. Yep. Yeah, there's one there. And one at the back, yeah. So I'll look for stuff like that. Otherwise, she's pretty all right to go back together. I'm going to do a timing advance as well, Cameron, for about 1 or 2 degrees. That's about it. What the hell was that off? I just found that. I had no idea what that's off. Wow. What does that come off? I remember seeing a flat washer anyway. You have to look what that's for. No idea, it must be behind that, I'd say. Chainway flag, I think. Wow. I'd like to saw that, but make crank, check where the crank is. That's why you see me smoking my saws. Always put 2-stroke oil down the cylinder to lubricate everything up. But they're bit of grease. Burn it all out. Well, nothing down there. Don't mind doing where that screw, what should come on? I'd say off that. Don't know. Yeah, front. Yeah, about the right size. Well, I've no idea about that. That's just weird. I've looked into that. That's just, it's dirty, so it's also doing the outside. Witness marks. There's quite a big witness mark on that washer. So that's queer. I have never seen that, so I won't get where that came from. Nothing on the magnets. Nothing on the magnet. And sometimes if they get stuck on the magnet on the inside of the foil. So before I start this up, I'll be checking everything. Yeah, nothing there I can see. You know how to film that, guys. But I can see there's nothing behind the foil. But there could be a mark or a little cave behind all that. It could be inside the foil, so I have to look at that. No watch to that side. That is weird. I'm now concerned where the hell that came from. Oh, I'll find it. Alright, keep going. Alright, as far as these other timing numbers are on the saw that I see and what I believe to be right, so it hasn't been poured yet, so it's an important thing. With this exhaust of a light. Now if I can see a light, the exhaust can come out. So I always go about 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch of light. About there. So just around 109 now. I want that to open about there. 102, 103. So I put a lump in the exhaust, it's a alert, like a Victor lawnmower. And the intake is at, what are you looking at? Intake, going down, going back up. Cracking there, so that's there. So it's at 80 degrees, I'm not changing the intake. I will flatten the bottom out of the intake. I will flatten the bottom out so the moment the piston can open up, because at the moment it's a bit of an upward curve like that on the intake port. I'll float it to dead levels. As soon as that piston cracks, straight up. But I won't increase it any more time to the infeed. So that's that. The transfers, I'm not touching them at all. I will tickle up the inside because where the caps go on the transfers, there's a bit of a step on the primary port, so it comes down and it jumps and goes out. So I'll clean it up just a bit. I'll put me 90-degree die grinding piece on there, a little tiny thing. I'll go in there and clean it with a diving wheel, and that's all I'm doing. Just clean up. I'm not going to change the timing. I'm not going to change the profile, nothing like that. The reason being that exhaust will work, because if I get the exhaust out quickly in a real quick channel-like effect, because the exhaust lighted now, I'll put a little lump in the exhaust, a tiny lump, a little hole, and up like that. That's how the old two-strokes work. And I let the air, the exhaust blow out real quick, and when that pressure's all gone, those other transfers then open up and fill the cylinder like I would normally do on a two-stroke. Normally the fuel follows the exhaust out and pushes all the exhaust out. For this one here, it goes in after the exhaust opens up and goes back towards the carby, and it's just not efficient. It's not the best way to do it. I don't know why Shindaiwa and Echo have done that, but I think that'll fix the problem. We're now at 23,000 squish, so I'll probably end up about 25,000 squish by the time I glue it all up and do all that, but it's basically done. So I'll finish it up. I'll show you the port when it's all being poured up. But I found that where that washer went too, I'm pretty sure. So looking over and over, I'm pretty sure the washer went on this side here, behind that thing there, or in front of that thing there, because there's a witness mark just there. Yeah, we just on that. So I must have knocked it and it's come down and stuck onto that there. So always look for witness marks size. It's the right size for it. It's like that, I think. I'll go back in the video and have a look and see if I can see that before. But the pull star and all that sits there. So I'm assuming that'll be about part of the pull star and all that. So I'm assuming somewhere there'll be a space or something as well going there. But yeah, I'll get on to this, guys. I'll finish this today. Going back to the most important part, and I did know something, and I don't really want to point fingers at. I noticed something's quite crucial in the old cylinder. So I'm getting a clean Q-tip out now. I'll show you what it is for. I always do this in the stores. I found out a long time ago. You don't polish your cuts and burrs and stuff up. No matter how much you shampoo and carom and sandpaper, you will cut into your cylinders and you wreck your pistons and stuff though. That fit in there. No. Put it in there and show you. Because the old cylinder does have a problem. And it's quite an easy fix if you have seen it first. Come on, go on there, young wing. I wish I could get longer Q-tips, I can't. I found them. This is one of these. There's the clean one, brand new. Now I polish up everything I've cut on the ball. So if I've ground even one little piece, if the ring goes near it, I make sure it's polished. I've even used mag cleaning paste in the big cylinder. I wash all that shit out though. I have a bit of used that bit to put the valve cleaning paste in there. But everything I do in the store, if it's lip here, I've cut that lip, I polish that. I've shampooed it first, sandpaper and all that, but then I come through, polish it, and make sure it's all fine. Then I go along with this and make sure nothing's sharp at all. If it's sharp, it'll come up here quickly. Where'd that go? It'll come up quickly, so I can just go around and make sure nothing's sharp at all. Right, all the edges where the piston and all that goes through. The very first time is to a burr there, they transfer into the cylinder and shorten the life of the saw. I go around everywhere I've cut, everywhere. Check everything, even the upper transfers of the original part of the saw. I check them. I do the intake part here. If I've touched the intake, I'll polish that and go around every part that you can. Make sure it's all right. Exhaust, same thing. I've shampooed it, I've polished it and all that. I go through and make sure nothing tight or nothing can weigh the actual cylinder at all. That's the main thing. Then you can clean the whole thing up. Now I'll show you this way. It's been cleaned and all that brake cleaner blown out. I'll put it in hot water soon. I'll just go in here, go and show you. Should come pretty shiny. You see what the cylinder's like. I've done 400, 80, 400, and 800, and 1200. It just lights up nice and nice and clean. Now I didn't lower this cylinder at all. The exhaust port, it's already too low, way too low. I just do this to make it look pretty, but it's always really pretty. But make sure it's clean. So, you see that intake there, like that exhaust should say? A little lump at the top there. Head given torch, release the clip, there you go. That little lump there, that'll let the exhaust gas out really quick. And the flow, well then, these guys do their job properly, so they're done. Intakes, I'll wash it, I'll show you back when it's washed. I know as I'm getting older, I get more pedantic about certain things. So, that's been washed, cleaned, all that. And now what I'll do is go back into it with some 1200 grit sandpaper on the exhaust there, and just run it with your finger through and push it on the exhaust port like that, and just make sure there's no burrs, no nothing. I'll go wash it again, but I just go through these processes so I know it works. Make sure it's all clean, guaranteed clean. Same on the intake, just on the edges there, just make sure it's clean, no burrs. And we'll talk about this one in a sec. Up transfers, because the rings, everywhere the ring sits, you could catch, just make sure nothing's sticking up. Even though your fingers, because let it stroke, these fingers are numb. I can't guarantee what I'm feeling, so that's how I do it. I guarantee what I do with this will make sure I have perfect cylinders. Just make sure they're clean. I'll go back over and polish it. Just make sure nothing's sticking up. Just do all that. Just make sure no sharp bits anywhere, and I don't lose cylinders no more. Now I'll go back inside, I'll wash this again. Be right, that's the exhaust. That'll polish up nice now. Buff up. Doesn't really mean much, guys, but when it's all shiny, I know it's nothing sharp, it's clean, nice. That's pretty good now, I think. That's pretty good. Try to get light off you guys. There's a bit of light there. That's shiny. Now, what I think's happened to this one here. Now, I've shown this, guys, that I always do this to make sure everything's nice and clean. Nice and clean. Nothing hitting my nails, it's clean. I do the side there, clean. Nothing sticks up in these corners here, they're clean. But, I don't know who did the pouring on this, and I don't really care. It's just a mistake. I think this could have caused the problem, but I'm not quite sure if it did, but it wouldn't have helped, put it that way. It's been machined, it's been now poured, it's been decked and all that. But, listen to this. That's my nail. That's on the intake side. There's bits sticking up, alright? A little bit there. Go around the exhaust. I found a sharp bit there somewhere. What was that now? That's who I was hoping. Top me, Phil. There's lumps and bumps just there. And the ones, I'm talking very little, but I'm wondering if they cause damage to the ring where it's assembled and started this whole thing falling apart. Just a bit there. So, the rings only go there once, and maybe it was hard getting on the cylinder or pistons, had to muck around trying to get on. Maybe that was what caused it. But, yeah, just a tiny bit sharp just there. I could make a noise before, but I can't do it now. My nails are softened in the water, but yeah, I think that's what caused it. It's roughly the same numbers, so that's these lower transfers. So mine's on the left, he's on the right, very similar. Mine's a bit more open, going for the transfers. He blew out the upper transfers way more than I would have done, so not 100% happy with them, but that's the way he did it, and it probably would have worked if it wasn't for the ring catching somewhere. Yeah, isn't that? I can't do it now. My nails are all soft. Just there. Anyway, that's beside the point. They're a bit different, so I've got the exhaust, as you've already seen. I haven't opened these doors up very much, but I've opened up more with a blowdown, so be able to see. But I'm on the left intake. That's his intake, which is quite normal, it's quite standard. There's my intake. I should put my head like on, shouldn't I? Yes, Kevin, you should. So, intake. My one. It's pretty well standard, I think. And the original one. So, you open up the tone bit, nothing stupid there. I've flattened my arms up, flattened the base of mine up. This one has not been flattened up. It's more of an arch still. It's an arch, so I haven't done that. I've got mine all flat, so I go bang, straight up. The flat bottom, so that should produce way more power. So I put it back together about 25,000, I think, or 24. So on the squish, about 102 on the exhaust, 80 on the intake. So I haven't touched the uppers at all. I don't believe I will. I have flow tested them in the sink, put water for them, and it's interesting. There's been one here goes straight up towards the upper cylinder. So I was quite impressed with that difference straight up. And the guy who did this, it's done the same thing, it's fine. The other one, the back one here towards the carby, they the hug wall just above the intake, so that's different. And these big ones here go straight across towards the carby. So I don't think it'll be a problem. So I'll go back in the house now and wash it again. And I'll put it together and that's it. So next time you see this saw, it'll be running. Alright guys, over and out. And thank you for watching. I know, add on. You wouldn't believe, even if the cylinder did run right, I pulled out the decon valve plug, the thread of this is almost stripped. Look, the alley. Had a copper wash under it, that's fine, but the thread was starting to strip out of it. So even if it did run good, it would have popped that out and break the cylinder anyway. So Cameron, you are very, very lucky. I've got some stuff here, new ones. I've got a new one there, and a new one there, but that, I just hadn't done it, it was loose. And as soon as I wound it up, the aluminium started popping out of that, so it's no good at all. Yeah, it's stripped. It's so close. I was surprised it was loose, but undone, so just undone easily. Yeah, so you still would have died anyway, mate. So anyway, now over and out. Thank you for watching.